Okay, so today I'm going to be reading The Fifth House from Howard Sasportas, who I think does a pretty good job with these houses. Truly, I say to you, unless you turn and become like children, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven. Matthew 18:3. That's the opening quote in the like at the beginning. So in the fourth house, we discover our own discrete identity. But in the fifth, we revel in it. The fire of the first house burns without even knowing it is burning. The fire of the fifth rages consciously and is joyously fanned by the self. The nature of life is to grow, and this house, naturally associated with Leo and the sun, reflects our urge to expand, to become more and more, and to radiate out into life like the sun. By the time we reach the fifth house, we now know that we are not everything, but we are not content just to be a someone. We must be a special someone. We are not all there is, but we can try to be the most important thing there is. The function of the sun in our solar system is twofold. It shines, giving warmth, heat, and life to the earth. But it also serves as the central organizing principle around which the planets orbit. In this sense, the sun is like the personal ego, or the I, the center of consciousness around which the different aspects of the self revolve. Individuals with strong placements in the fifth partake of the qualities of the sun. They need to shine and create from inside themselves. They need to feel influential, and they need to feel that others are revolving around them. To some, this means literally always being the center of attention, a craving to be worshipped like the sun. One woman I knew with the sun and Mars in the fifth could not tolerate being in the same room with the television on because it meant that others in the room might focus on it rather than her. We must remember that the sun, although vitally central and important, is not the only sun in the galaxy. It's just one of many. The words of a popular song remind us that everybody is a star. Embedded deep in our psyches and reverberating throughout the fifth house is an innate desire to be recognized for our specialness. Sorry, so when I'm reading this kind of down, and I don't know if you guys saw my recent video about every time we look down, we're kind of accessing the emotional part of our brain, which is good. It helps me be like dramatic about this stuff, these lines, but it's just, I'm gonna put it up a little bit, okay. So, where was I? One woman I knew with the sun and Mars in the fifth could not tolerate being in the same room with the television on because it meant that others in the room might focus on it rather than her. We must remember that the sun, although vitally central and important, is not the only sun in the galaxy. It is just one of many. The words of a popular song remind us that everybody is a star. Embedded deep in our psyches and reverberating throughout the fifth house is an innate desire to be recognized for our specialness. As children, we believe that the cuter or more spellbinding and captivating we are, the more certainly will Mother want to love and protect us. Enslaving and enchanting others with our unique value and worth is one way of ensuring we are fed, protected, cared for, and therefore more likely to stay alive. Another keynote of the fifth is generativity, which simply defined means the ability to produce. These two principles, the need to be loved for our specialness and the desire to create from inside ourselves, underlie most of the traditional associations with the fifth house. The fifth house is the area of the chart attributed to creative expression, most obviously with artistic endeavors, although the creativity of the fifth needn't be just a painting a picture or performing a dance. Scientists or mathematicians can apply themselves to their work with great and artistry or passion, as a Picasso or Pavlova. The signs and planets in the fifth shed light on the possible outlets for creative expression. Mercury or Gemini in the fifth may denote a talent for writing or public speaking. Neptune or Pisces may be absorbed with music, poetry, photography, or dance. Cancer and Taurus might exhibit a flair for cooking, while Virgo in this position can be exceptionally adept at sewing and handiwork. However, more than describing which creative outlet we engage in, the placements here suggest the manner and style with which it is pursued. A piece of music can be an intellectual tour de force, Mercury or Uranus, or come straight from the heart, Moon or Neptune. Some people produce spontaneously and joyfully, while others suffer extraordinary birth pangs. Above and beyond purely creative expression, this is the house of the actor and depicts the way in which we tackle the art of living. One client with an obvious fifth house slant described herself as a professional person, and she did not intend this solely in terms of career. The creative outlets associated with the fifth also include sports and recreation. For some, it is the challenge of athletics, the contest and competition, the joys of winning and coming first. For others, it is the sheer ecstasy of exertion and the pitting of the self against the elements or odds. Similarly, gambling and speculation are assigned to the fifth as well, where we test our wit and imagination against fate and chance. The fifth house is more broadly associated with hobbies, amusements, and spare time pleasures. These all sound terribly low-key for a house ruled by the sun and Leo. However, upon examination, they are more important than they first appear. The fifth describes activities which make us feel good about ourselves and make us glad to be alive. Hobbies and spare time amusements afford the opportunity to participate in what we want and like to do. Through these pursuits, we feel the joy of being fully involved in something. Unfortunately, many of us have careers or jobs which do not entail this degree of engagement. There is a great danger that our enthusiasm and vitality would run dry unless we had spare time interests to recharge and reinvigorate ourselves. In this light, hobbies and amusements have an almost therapeutic effect. The word recreation literally means to make new, to revitalize and inspire with life energy. Planets and signs in the fifth suggest the types of spare time pursuits we might explore and the manner in which this is undertaken. Romance finds its way under the heading of the fifth house. Besides being exciting, passionate, heart-wrenching, or whatever, romantic encounters enhance our sense of specialness. We become the main focus of attention for somebody else's feelings, and we can display our very special love to someone else. Placements in the fifth reveal the way in which we create romance, the archetypal principle most likely activated in these situations, and as well as something about the kind of person who ignites us. Sexual expression is also linked to the fifth. A good sexual relationship contributes to our sense of power and worth, highlighting both our ability to give pleasure and the capacity to attract others to us. This power to enchant and hold the attention of others is very reassuring and satisfies deeply embedded survival instincts. Compare this to the eighth, where we seek to transcend our personal boundaries through intimacy. So all this leads to one of the main representations of the fifth, children, creations of the body and the physical extensions of the self. Most people primarily express their creative drives and symbolically ensure their survival through generating offspring. While the fourth and 10th houses indicate how we view our parents, placements in the fifth describe the archetypes constellated between ourselves and our children. Signs and the planets here reflect what our progeny mean to us. In line with examples from other houses, placements in this house can be interpreted in a variety of ways. For instance, Jupiter in the fifth may literally produce Jupiterian children, meaning like your children will have Jupiterian qualities. Those born under the sign of Sagittarius, or in this case, he's talking about those born under the sign of Sag or Sag rising, or Jupiter conjunct an angle or the sun, etc. Or we can understand Jupiter in the fifth to mean our predisposition to encounter Jupiter in that area of life. We project, and I have Jupiter in the fifth, and I have been lucky a lot. We project Jupiter onto our children or are prone to register their Jupiterian side more strongly than any of their other traits. Planets in the fifth also describe our experience in the role of parent. Saturn there may be terrified of the responsibility of parenting and afraid that they won't be good at it. Uranus's idea of bringing up children may embrace the most new and avant-garde theories on the subject. More than just describing external children, the fifth house could aptly be called the house of our own inner child, that part of us which loves to play and which always stays eternally young. Inside us all is a spontaneous, natural child who craves to be loved for his or her own specialness and uniqueness. However, as children, this part of us is often quashed. Too often we are loved for conforming and matching up to our parents' expectations and standards rather than for being who we truly are. In this way, we lose faith in our budding individuality and become what transactional analysis refers to as the adapted child. Invariably, this invariably we will project the state of our own inner child onto our actual offspring. We can heal the damaged child inside ourselves by giving the love and acceptance we were denied as children to our own progeny or other young people we encounter. However we do it, it's never too late to have a happy childhood. We augment and enhance our unique identity and exercise our own power through the creative outpourings of the fifth. As a byproduct, we may even generate stunning works of art, worthwhile new books and ideas, or interesting children who in some way contribute to society. Benefiting society, however, is not the main, and then there's like another like paragraph left that I forgot to print, but that's basic gist of the fifth house. Yeah, I just wanted to read that kind of out loud to you all, just so you have an idea about the fifth house. Feel free to comment about if you have planets in the fifth house and how that manifests for you, or other ideas about the fifth house. Because I'm starting this channel now, like, and I'm gonna read stuff, but I'm gonna give my own like opinions as well. And I'm looking forward to meeting a lot of you people and just providing good quality content for all of you. So thank you, and please subscribe.